Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ben's Brick Designs. I'm Ben. We're going to be building AT tonight, so let's just keep getting into it, shall we? We got some of this building material in here, and we're just going to keep rolling. We're on bag 4. So at this point, welcome the Twitch only viewers. I appreciate you being here if you come and watch. At this point, we are at the understanding that this is now the thing that makes the legs bend. If you hook it up in here, you can see it turns. Whenever we need to have it turn, it's going to turn these lower legs too. You can see it turn that. So the human tool will be involved in making this posable, because this thing is just entirely so massive that it needs to have these giant things really locked in too. Oh, nope, that's what I wanted. I'm gonna do a couple things real quick. Hey Kodiak, how are you? Thanks for being here. You're the only one here so far, but I'm glad you're here. That gives me somebody to talk to. I'm gonna do this tonight because I've got a little time to kill before I have to do a lug bulk thing tonight at midnight to cut over our voting common parts until like now we're just doing these are the parts that you're going to order. So that's happening at midnight tonight. So I've got time to kill. 10:10 p.m. tonight. I think it's 10:10 p.m. I was hoping that's not Eastern, but anyway, I'll watch the last half of it. Is going to be an Olympic thing, some hockey, so I'm going to watch that. So I was like, I got some time to kill. So here's where we left off. Let me see if I can kill the browser without killing the chat. I guess so. So this is my first just Twitch only stream, and since I don't have YouTube and Facebook going on, it's just going to be very low key, not a whole lot going on. Oh man, that's some long days, man. I do not envy you your days. I'm glad you're at home relaxing. This was a weird week. It felt like it was really long, but at the same time, got a lot done. Just interesting. Nothing really changed from yesterday when I was streaming last, except I did finalize. I sat up a little bit longer after the stream yesterday and finished some of the legs, and watched some hockey, some Avalanche. So yeah, so let me know how the stream quality is, all that kind of stuff. I'm also Live Oak Hefeweizen, Live Oak from here in Austin, Texas. Oh, I got this in the mail today. I'm very excited. got me an old. This is like one of the first Lego ideas. Cool, thanks, man. Lego Ideas sets, this exosuit. I think this is what it was submitted when it was Lego QSO. It says Ideas, but I'm pretty sure this was a QSO set. And I got it specifically because it has two green minifigures. Now, this one is spoken for. So, Lug friend Michaela has spoken for this one. And they said they would, we could split it. So I'm going to build this at some point. I might build this soon on, I don't know, where should I build it? I'm still trying to figure out how to split up the channels so I can do some of this on YouTube and some of this on Twitch. After this, I might be able to offload this to the VOD on YouTube. I don't know how that works. I don't know how any of this works. If you'd like to host the channel, great. If you'd like to tell me some bits and pointers about how some of this works, that'd be great. I'm using OBS single stream to this. Now, I'm not going through Restream. So, if there's things that I may be missing or that you'd like to see, like chat stuff, emotes, emojis, things like that. I haven't really been able to kind of go and research a whole lot of that yet. I know enough to like get it all started. And then from there, it's kind of like, well, just watch. That's the important thing. But I realize that some of this may be a little interactive too, so. Haven't seen them in a while. Haven't seen them. Yeah, they haven't done any live stuff in a bit, and I don't know why. I don't know if that's something they decided they don't want to just do anymore, or they're in the lug meetings still, so I know they're out, like, still being involved in stuff, but maybe streaming wasn't what they wanted. And that's okay. Sometimes I think about that about myself too. I'm like, is streaming really what I want to do? Maybe I should just worry about building. And I realize also this is Friday night and there's not going to be a lot of people here, and it's Lego building, so yeah. I'm not playing Apex Legends. I'm not playing whatever gets views, so it's just gonna be me and Kodiak and this Lego set. Oh, and my phone. Sorry, I was talking to my friends about a bar that we all go to. They went to a new place that we went. I had talked about this place on Thursday because it came up with talk about soccer, and it's that weird talk where it's like, I'm not like a super sporto or anything, but I do like hockey and I do like soccer, and it's just hard to be sort of nerdy about Lego and Star Wars and like lots of stuff, right? But then also being, yeah, let's go to that game, you know, or I gotta watch the hockey game tonight, kind of thing. So 'cause a lot of my friends are just like, man, sports. Like, okay. So it's hard to talk to them about it. But I still feel like there's some good that happens with that. It's just hard when it's the NFL and you've got the type of players in the NFL who are not like good humans. And you're kind of like, meh. It's hard to be like, no, sports are good. Are they? Are they really? Well, hockey's good. Soccer's good. You know what's real good is like women's soccer, because it's actually people playing and it's not 90 minutes of dudes pretending to be hurt. That gets so annoying. I know it's like you get people saying, oh, it's part of the game. It's like, is it? That's really annoying. Anywho. So yeah. So nothing really new going on. I did get some work done on the space station, the gray space station. I'm very excited about that. Got a lot of real good work done on it. I'm going to be really excited when it all comes together and all the different colored ships. You can't really see that. Different colored ships are all on top of it, and it's all, you know, boringly gray, but it has all these brightly colored ships. I think it'll be great. ×2. All right, here's where we go crazy, because this is 2 of these things. I did this last night. Got about halfway through this last night, I think. So yeah, I'm not a Twitch person yet. I'm going to try to be a little more. I think maybe Twitch will be like the solo streams, and then maybe YouTube will be like, hey, let's have some people on and we'll talk about stuff. Just haven't figured that out yet. The good news is I don't have to figure it out. I can just do whatever I want for as long as I want. If I change my mind about it, that's cool too. Because nobody's paying me to do this, and there's no results that need to come out of it. That looks backwards. It does get a little weird feeling like you're talking to yourself all night though, so. And I know you're there, Kodiak, so that's cool. So cheers. So right now I'm working on the second of the 4 legs, the second pair of the 4 legs. I did the first 2 yesterday. So I think we got through this part during the stream. This is the thing I hate the most about these big cages of Technic, is when you've got more than 1 or 2 pins to line up. There's just no good way to do this. I almost feel like doing it the other way, like backwards. Doing this kind of crap. I hate this. There's got to be a trick to it. Like, I must be doing it wrong, because I can't imagine anybody sitting. Like, there was a part of this leg thing last night. I sat here for like 10 minutes trying to get to work. I'm like, there's got to be a better way to do this. Because these pins are friction pins and they squeeze a little bit at the end. And when you're just doing one, you can kind of wiggle it and get it in there. But when you've got 4 to do at once, it's like, how do I hold on to all 4 of those at once to like wiggle them in there? I feel like I'm gonna break these. And then suddenly it just all goes in. Oh, I'm gonna need to step away to get some bushings. Because if this ever gets taken apart, I don't want it to be impossible to take apart in this point again. Right? So you can't tell from in here, but this is the part in the set where it goes, there's an axle that goes along here and it gets completely covered and built in, and there's really no way to pull it apart unless you get like a knife in there. So I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. So here we go. Right? This will replace these. And I'll show you that here in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and set those aside. All right, so that goes in there, and then we get the connector and the axle. I'm going to try to put up, I'll take a picture of the all gray space base maybe tonight or tomorrow, and put it up on Instagram. And if you can see somewhere in the channel below here, in the channel description should have all that info. It is it's coming along. Like I worked on like kind of a hallway bit that kind of goes out to the outside from the base, and that was fun to greeble. I may run out of gray. Like, shocking for me to not have enough gray. I know, considering all I buy is Star Wars stuff. So you can see now, pushing this all the way in, I don't think it compromises anything, but now I can get this out if I need to. I can kind of push it out a little easier. But it's not going anywhere. So, it should be fine. And you know what? If I put this all together and it like completely borks on me, then I'll know. I'll figure out how to take it all apart just to fix this one joint. But I don't think it's going to be a problem. All right. Cool. Yeah, I don't know. I think this whole thing could have just gone in there and it would have been fine. I don't know what that... Because once this connects, it doesn't matter. This is going to hold it in place. So, we'll see. Because otherwise, it's just a really bad design to force a build like that, where it's like, well, that piece is completely lost forever. Don't even fret. Don't even front about wanting that piece back. So I'm very excited about getting this thing done. I realize that a lot of people are like, I'm just excited to build it. I'm like, I want it done. I want to look at it. I want to play with all the features. But at the same time, if I spread it out a little bit, I can make it last. I could be doing this for a long time. So let's see, what do we talk about now? Let's talk about the upcoming. All right, so this weekend is the Super Bowl. But more importantly, during the Super Bowl, there should be an ad for the new Lord of the Rings show, the War of the Rings, which takes place, as we all know, during the Second Age. And not a lot is known about the Second Age, apparently, so I feel there's a lot that can be done in this time period. All right, so first two legs had these orange things. Now we're going to do with the white. You can see this orange right here. That big orange piece right there. Now we're doing white. But the same things, I'm pretty sure. There's a lot of attaching these little half pins and whatnot. So I'm excited, hopefully, and I've been trying not to watch the, like the what a world we live in where we're watching trailers for commercials. And people are excited about the commercials during a major sporting event because they don't care about the sporting event, but they're gathering together to eat usually garbage food and to watch commercials and maybe like the halftime show. It's just very funny. So that's Sunday. So that's what I'm excited about, is being able to hopefully see that the new Lord of the Rings show is going to be... And is it literally the Lord of the Rings? I'm going to have to make sure I say that right. And it's not like a different show, like a title. I think we all just call it Lord of the Rings show on Prime. I think they've been doing like Wheel of Time. They've been doing really well with... I know some people aren't happy about it, but I've been enjoying watching it. So I think there's always money in the banana stand. Invader Girl, hi, how are you? Thanks for being here. I couldn't stay away. I had to get back into it immediately, so that's why I'm here. Also tomorrow, and this was kind of a long way around saying why I'm not doing this tomorrow, like I said I was going to, but I realized tomorrow is going to be booked. So my son is in guard. He's in color guard. He was in marching band, and marching band's kind of done. And the coaches were like, hey, you should be in color guard. Because he was also the mascot for a hot minute. And so now that marching band's done, he's doing color guard. Because the coaches are like, we need guys, and you're pretty good. You took some martial arts. You know how to dance. You should join us. So he did. And he's having a real good time with it. But tomorrow is one of his competitions at 10 in the morning, which is exactly when I was going to be doing this. And I didn't want to wake up early and like say, oh, I'll start at 8 because no one's going to be on at 8. And also in case I don't wake up at 8. or by 8. So, and then after that, again, sporting stuff. The Austin MLS team has their first game Saturday, and there's going to be like a season opener kind of thing at a local pub. So we're going to thinking of going to that. So that's kind of the day, which is why I didn't do this tomorrow instead. But today I've got all kinds of time. Like, we went and saw some friends at this place, and then got back here, and Beth's taken some pain medicine for her stuff that she's been having problems with, and I'm like, well, I have to stay up till midnight to help with lug bulk, and there's nothing really going on, so might as well do some building and some streaming. Busy tomorrow for you too? What you got going on, if you don't mind me asking? All right, so we got some worm screws in there. Now it's time to put some half pins. And I keep wanting for the days not to be busy, but if they're not busy, all I end up doing is like playing Star Wars. So I'm just like, oh, I got all this stuff that I need to do, and I got to make a list and do all these chores, and then I'm like, I get a load of laundry done, and then I play like 3 hours of Battlefront, and then I don't know where the time goes, and I get mad at myself. Work in the morning, playing Pokemon Go in the afternoon. Is tomorrow community day? I think I saw something about that. I kind of stopped. I picked it up for a little bit, but then I stopped again. I was playing Pikmin Bloom for a little bit, but Pikmin Bloom is not really a game you play. It's like an app you have on when you go walk your dog. Like, it's not anything that you like really get invested in. But Pokemon Go, it's kind of recent, last couple months. My son was like, have you been playing? And I was like, no, I kind of gave it up. And like the FOMO wasn't holding me anymore. I was like, I didn't need to collect the newest thing, and I wasn't finding anything. And every time there was a community day, I didn't really know about it, and I wasn't going to Round Rock, or where there's like a big glut of stops, or the Domain or something, where I could really power through getting that, because it was just like just doing it to do it. Like there was almost no more reward after a while. So I stopped. But then my son was like, hey, have you played lately? And I was like, no, not lately. And he's like, well, let me look at your scanner. And of course he did. And of course, then I was like, oh, well, I'll keep playing. And so I started playing, but the only thing I was doing was walking my dogs and playing. And after that wore off, now I'm like, I just want to listen to podcasts and do it. Yeah, and I would usually play like, I'll take the dogs for a walk, and I've got 2 stops on my street or in my neighborhood, where I've got 1 stop and 1 gym that I can get to within a dog walk. So it's not too bad. I can fight the gym. I can put my guy on it. I can get my daily coins. I can spin 2 stops. I get my dailies. It's fine. But because I'm not in an area that's very populated with, there's plenty of things to catch along the way, and I usually do pretty well. But I'm not like doing a lot of churn to where I can get, and then, this is the part that I was having problems with yesterday. This was infuriating. So I'm kind of in and out with it. It got me through though. Like it was a good, like Niantic did pretty good with it. Coming from Ingress days, I really enjoyed this game, and I enjoyed Ingress too. But I think going on a walk, specifically to walk, and then having this game in the background is probably better than, oh, I'm gonna go for a walk so I can play this game. I think there's a difference. Oh, that was a lot better than it was last night. Man, last night I could not get those on there. Yeah, there's a park in our neighborhood, but it's only got like one stop on it. And it's a 6-minute walk or so you can hit it, you know, after it recharges. So you can walk a mile and hit it 4 times. It's not bad. But again, like the whole... How many more of these things do I have to catch? And they shift the spawn points, and they shift the spawn points so you don't have to, so you're not getting bored, but they shift them to things that's like, I don't care about these things anymore. So it was like Ingress a little bit, where it's like, well, I'm level 40. Now what? Oh, I don't think so, sir. I will spray bottle you. Yeah, just come over here and lay down. But the other thing is I work downtown. Well, I work from home now. But at the time I worked downtown. And I worked right by the Capitol. So I was like, every day I would take my lunch. Or like a 10 a.m. break. And go walk around the Capitol. And just crush it. So much to do, right? Stops and gyms and raids and all kinds of stuff. And that's when it was like not too bad, because you could get a lot done. You could hang out with people. This is back in the before times. You could like raid with people. Like I knew the names of the people who we were raiding with. Introduced you to Discord, and you were able to talk to people on that. My building had a gym on it, so you just sit there and put your guy on there and battle anybody who comes along. It wasn't too bad. But now I'm like, I work from home and nowhere to go, man. Level 43 on Pokemon Go. Cool. I think I'm 39. I got to 40 on Ingress, and then I was like, I think I'm done. Actually, I don't even think I got to 40 on Ingress. I stopped playing Ingress because we were trying to organize a... you build triangles in Ingress. And the trick is to like... get a triangle built right before the time frame where everything is scored, so you get the points, but then the other team doesn't have a chance to like tear your triangles down. So you have to like, okay, we have to do this by like 7 o'clock or 2 in the morning or something. It was generally better to do it at like some ungodly hour in the morning, so no one was out and they couldn't tear down your big fields, right? So we were trying something one day, and I remember driving around Pflugerville and doing my stuff, and I was like I was organizing it. Like at one point I was sort of the organizer for the Pflugerville resistance group. And at one point, we were all trying to get organized, and we were like calling each other on Slack or something, and somebody got really bent out of shape about something because we missed one of the turns. We missed one of the things. And, like, they were yelling at me. And I'm not generally one to have a thin skin about stuff. So it wasn't like I got all bent out of shape or sad or anything like that. I just was kind of like, why am I doing this? And it was just kind of like, yeah, I think I'm done with this game. Like, if it gets to the point where people are yelling at you because you're playing a game wrong, like, I don't need to be part of this game anymore. So that's when that happened. But up until then, it, you know, again, got me through. I keep saying that. But it's like, you look back on those things and you're like, yeah, I played that for a long time. And I talked to a lot of people. Got me to see parts of the city I normally would have gone to. It's 4. That's 6. Okay. So it was pretty cool, you know. Yeah, if you have to yell at somebody during the course of a game, it's like you've completely eliminated the thing that makes it a game. It's no longer a game now. You're yelling at people. And I feel like that about a lot of things, like Magic or video games. I yell at the screen a lot when I play video games, but that's usually when I know to turn it off. Beth will be like, "You're so mad." I'm like, "I know." She's like, "Are you sure you're enjoying this?" I'm like, "I'm loving this." In reality, I should probably turn that off and go do something else. This was the boring part of this build, if I remember correctly, was like just putting all these half pins in. And 8 on each. Fun rivalry shouting is fine, but getting angry... Like, I get there's time invested, and if you feel like your time got wasted or you missed an opportunity, that's fine. But in, like, the games we play, like Ingress and Pokemon, it's like, this is so transitory. This will be gone in minutes. Like, it won't even matter at the end of the day. Nobody will care. Why do you get so upset about that? I yell at the games because they cheat. They're so stupid. Yeah, especially Battlefront. I'm like, well, he's definitely got an aimbot because there's no way he would have shot me behind this wall. Freaking hacker. Exactly. It's not me. It's this controller. Oh, God. And then on the other side, right? Lord almighty. So many half pins. Somebody should have told me, hey, dude, do you like half pins? You're going to love this set. Still not delivered. Oh, no. I may have to go check on something here in a second. So I mailed something to... man, I hope I still have the receipt. The set that basically bought this set, or one of the two, I mailed to a person in Houston, and they just messaged me and said they haven't got it. So I'm gonna have to go check on that. Not like at this moment, probably after I get done with this. Flip it around, put in some more pins. And not tracking. Which is weird because the one that I mailed to... Oh, there's more than that. Really? 7. Okay. The one I mailed to Georgia got there yesterday. But the one that I mailed to Houston, which I could have driven it to Houston by this point, and probably should have, hasn't got there yet. Yeah, I'm worried that I got the address wrong. Because I don't print the label from PayPal. I just, write it down. So I'm hoping I wrote it down right. But I'll double check. I'm going to double check the tracking number, make sure that it's right. Stuff like this kind of bothers me because I can't really, there's nothing you can do about it. Like, once you mail it, you're kind of like, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. I mailed it. I know I mailed it. I got the receipt. I paid for insurance. That's the thing. I paid for insurance. So hopefully, if they don't get it back, I can buy a new set for them. And I don't think the set is worth more than that. So I can just take the insurance money and just say, hey, you lost my thing. Take that and then buy them the set anew or again. All right. La la. And this is usually why I don't like shipping things, because I've been burned on shipping so much for so many things. I did so when I was still doing art and comic books, I was still buying comic books and reading comic books and drawing comic books. I started this thing called the 100 Artists Project, and I'm still very proud of it. Nothing really ever came of it, but I'm still very proud of what we did. I was inspired by this thing that I heard about where people had a sketchbook and they just left the sketchbook in a coffee shop, and there must have been like something written on the front of it that was like, just add a drawing to this and then leave it here for the next person to draw. Like, oh man, that's really cool. And apparently it turned out some really, really great stuff. And I forget where I saw it. This is back in the day. Like, this is nearly pre-Facebook. So like 2008, 2009. So internet, but not like big social network kind of stuff. So that's a really cool idea. I was like, what, would be really cool is if we mailed a sketchbook to everybody, like all of my comic book friends, and we all took a page and we all drew something in that page, and then we took that sketchbook and auctioned it off, and then the money we get from that we can donate to like a comic book focused charity, like the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund, or which I think has since like kind of been proven to be not great. Or there was a second one and I forget what it's called, like Golden Age Heroes or Comic Heroes or something, that was focused on like social work help for, or legal help or medical help for Golden Age artists and writers who were kind of in need, right? Because those guys didn't make a ton of money. They didn't make a huge name for themselves, but they did a lot of work laying the groundwork for a lot of comics that we now read. So the Hero Initiative, that's what it was called. So I was like, yeah, so we'll do that. We'll do this thing, and then we'll raise as much money as we can. We'll auction it off on eBay, and then we'll donate the money to these two causes. So one of them, we did two projects. One was going to go towards one thing, and one was going to go toward the other. So one was you get a sketchbook, and then everybody signs up. Like, if you want to be part of this, you sign up. You give me your address, and then we'll mail you the sketchbook, and then you draw it. You've got a week to draw it. So this is going to take a while, right? Fill up this 100-page sketchbook, right? You've got a week. Don't linger because this is going to take a while. Jump to the end of the story. The sketchbook was lost after like 20 stops. It just didn't get to where it was supposed to go. And you can't really insure that. You know, it's like, well, I don't know how much we would have got for an auction on this, so I don't have any idea how to say that this is worth $500, $100, $1,000. No idea. But it was a real bummer because it got, you know, and I had a piece of software set up that would track where it was and all this kind of stuff, and it was very, very fun. And then the second part was just mail in a piece of art, right? And then I would keep it in a binder and I would sell that off. So I liked the idea of the sketchbook more because it traveled, but just sending in the art was, I think, probably the more successful way to do it. And I think we ended up raising like $500. So not too bad. I was really bummed that we lost that sketchbook. That's somewhere out there, but which is why I'm a little worried about this, because I always feel like I'm going to get burned doing that. But it's still worth it. Because, you know, they got $500 they normally wouldn't have, and hopefully that went toward helping somebody. So I hate to say it, but I think I'm running out of gray brick for my space station. Like, I keep going back to the bin that's got like the 1 by greater than 4s brick in it. So 1 by 6, 8, 10, 12. And I've got a lot of black and white, and I got a lot of dark gray, but I'm running out of the gray, the light gray. So I am not caring much about how much old light gray is being used. Old light gray. But it makes it look kind of gross. Kind of funky, you know, a little bit like, oh, this is a used Starbase or something, but at the same token, I'm like, if you're using one, great. If you're using another, great. The two mixed looks, I'm not a big fan, but I'm also like, I don't necessarily want to go out and buy a bunch of gray brick, you know? I think I get enough gray brick buying all the Star Wars things, so I don't feel like I'll just use what I got. It's not like the purple where I had to go on eBay to buy purple because I didn't have any. I had like 5 pieces of purple. You don't have much gray? Yeah. In fact, in the lug, people are like, oh, is it gray? Ben will take it. Yes, I will. I make spaceships. But yeah, it's coming along great. It's going to be a big pillar, kind of a central, probably about that big, and go up to about, you know, maybe a foot, and then have like a top with a big radar dish on it. And then I'll have once I get the gray guy, which I still have to buy the gray guy, it'll have the gray guy standing on it with like, I think one of those old metal detector pieces, because that's in gray. And it'll be cool. And then it's got 3 different landing platforms kind of jutting out from it. And I did some real fun stuff with like doors and greebling, and I got the landing platforms to go way out, even though they were not supported underneath, with some Technic stuff. I'm thinking it'll be real fun. I think it'll be a fun thing to look at the convention. I'm hoping that a lot of people enjoy it because I'm having fun building it. I'm even doing stuff like inside the hallway so there's going to be one like area that like comes out of the central core, like a corridor of some kind, and then there's like an airlock. And even though I haven't built it so you can take it apart and look inside it, I know that there's 2 doors in there for an airlock. And there's a little control panel. And with it being only gray brick, it's like an arch with 2 round tiles on it. That's the control panel, because I don't want computer. Although I guess I could have computers. I didn't do computers on any of the other ships because it's different colors. So I just kind of left it as, well, that's a thing. Those computer consoles don't come in that color, so it's not monochrome. The only thing that is not monochrome is the space, classic space symbol. I know it's there, is all that matters. Yeah. In fact, I might take some pictures. I know my ex-fiance, Pre-Beth, and I built a thing that we were both very proud of. And it was this space castle kind of thing, and it had a lot of bits and bobs, and it was a story that we built. And there was like this, we had a pamphlet, or we had a binder full of like a story with like printed pictures, and it like came with the model. So you go look at the model and you could like flip through the book and like read the story of what was going on. It was really fun. It was kind of a simple build, but it was still like, that's kind of cool. I had a good time doing that. So I feel like that's kind of like what I'm going for, is there's little bits, and I think everybody who does Lego is like that. Like, there's little bits inside there that were fun when I built it. And even actual Lego sets are full of that kind of stuff. A lot of internal things that only you know about. All right. So I'm a little worried there's an extra one of these, but that's okay. These, I know what's going to happen later, so that's okay. And now I got to put the last of these legs on. So, double check. Get my tool here. Make sure that's straight, because this is kind of fidgety too. The only reason I say it's fidgety is because the surrounding stuff is so fragile that I feel like if I push too hard against it, it's gonna like break all the other bits. So you kind of have to line it up and hope for the best. So what I'm trying to do here, and I don't know if you can see that, but see all those pins along there, those black pins? Oh, I've already effed that up. They all go in that. So you try to line up 7 pins. And like 2 will go on great, or 3 will go on great. But I don't want to push on this middle part because this is like not pushable. It's kind of fragile. So you don't want to push on that too much. Oh, and that went on great. Okay, good. Yay! All right, we've got stumpy legs. This will be as big as my dog. My dog is about this big. So if you don't know what my dog looks like, I should go get her because she's adorable. All right. these two pieces go in here. Oh, has Resident Alien started yet? I think that was supposed to start at the end of January. I need to get back into watching that because that was a fun show. Alan Tudyk is a national treasure and should be protected at all cost. All right. Well, this is Greeble Heaven. This is angled build Greebled Heaven. I don't want to like mess it up. But I mean, you can see the angles in there. That just looks really nice. Right? And apparently it says turn it over. So there you go. Resident Alien is... Alright, so we're on to box 2. Just put this over here. Resident Alien is an NBC... or it's a sci-fi show. Hang on, I'm going to box this up real quick. Where Alan Tudyk of Firefly / Knight's Tale / whatever else he's been on. He's been the voice of a lot of things. He was K2SO as well. He's the voice of K2SO in Star Wars. So here's another box. This section will be the lower legs. I'm going to turn this back over, hopefully without ruining it, so I can move it easier. Get that out of the way, and you can see this will be the lower legs. Lower legs. Haven't built any of this extra stuff. I'm sure this will all be at the very end. But here you go. Lower legs. And then we can stand all this up. Okay. So. It's a sci-fi show, and if you've got Hulu or Peacock, I forget which one will show you. I have to get a knife. Hang on. It's on top of the fridge. Can you reach that? Can you hear it? If you ever hear that, that means it needs water. And like a lot, like halfway out probably. Thanks. Okay, sorry about that. Realized that the animals were running low on water. It's a long time answering this question. It's a show about an alien who crashes on Earth and poses as a doctor in a very small town in Colorado, a little mountain town. So Resident Alien is supposed to be like a resident doctor. But it's Alan Tudyk, so he's very Alan Tudyk-y. Like he does a weird, kitschy, awkward alien guy very well. Hijinks ensue, of course. The catch is his disguise. He disguises himself as a human, but his disguise is like a molecular thing where he can kind of change what is being seen by other people. So it's not like he changes himself. He just changes, kind of like stealth technology. The plane doesn't change, but what you see of the plane changes, right? Apparently, there's a genetic thing where aliens and humans, genetic thing. But apparently, one in a million people can see through his disguise, and apparently a little boy in this town can see through his disguise, so he can see that this is an alien. But it's a little boy, so nobody believes him. He's like, he's an alien, and they're like, oh, he's the little guy. Look at him, he's so cute. And so the alien's like, don't you rat me out, you know. It's really fun. But at the same time, the doctor who he's impersonating, he killed when he got to Earth. And so there's an investigation by the sort of hapless police or sheriff in the town about who we should, about finding the doctor. Or, you know, they're like we found a foot. We need to find who this foot belongs to. And the alien's like, no, you don't, you know. They obviously weren't that important, or they would have been turned up, you know, somebody would have said they were missing, kind of thing. But he still has to pretend to be a doctor in this small town. It's really fun. And it gets a little heartwarming because he starts befriending people and, you know. It's great. I like it. All right, book 2 of instructions. Go for the legs. It may be our only chance of stopping them, says Luke Skywalker. Weighing design options. I really do want to go back and read this. I always say that about instructions, but I really do this time. It just talks about how the giant gears help distribute the weight and stuff. So, new building techniques, big turntables and worm gears, nouveau technique de construction, l'intégration des plateaux tournants, Lego technique, et dangereux, avissant fin dans les articulations, des jambes. Jambe is arms, not legs. Huh, interesting. Yeah, I thought jambe was leg. All right. Either way, I like Invader Zim. Only one kid at school knows Zim's an alien. Pretty much, almost exactly like Invader Zim. Only in this show. Sorry for the noise. 6, 5. Okay, 5, 6, 7. 5. In this show, he doesn't have a little robot dog with him. Doom, doom, doom. Oh, and he's got to find pieces of his ship because the whole reason he was coming to Earth was to destroy it. So he's got to find pieces of his ship so people don't, so he can complete his mission. 6. See, here's the thing. If you're going to do bag 6, and both bags are large bags, 6 and 7, why are there 2 large bags of 6? No, there's only 14 bags in this set, but in actuality, there's like 37 bags. Five. Still a bunch of bags in here. 6, 7. Yeah. That doesn't make any sense to me. There's 3. Look at this. There's 4. So this is number 7. Not 7, 8, 9, 10, 7. Sorry about your ears. Remind me I dropped a bag over there. Doesn't make any sense. Je ne comprends pas. All right. My French is terrible. Oh, are these all the exact same? Times 4. Oh, goodness. Should we try to build all 4 of these at once? Should we try a simul build? I bet that's why all 4 back. No? Well, maybe. And inside some of these bags are other bags. Yo, dog. I hear you like bags. Try to do this down here. So much gray. I think it's funny that these pieces are included. They're obviously going to be internal, but man, I would have liked just some of that. I like how the bags also have kind of a theme. Like this is the red and blue pile, and this is the black and yellow pile, and this is the gray and tan pile. And this is the bag that I almost forgot to open up pile. Kodiak, you still with me, or did you fall asleep? Friday night at 9 o'clock. A bag in a bag in a box in a box. We'll put it in a brandy snifter. How sick is that? Oh, I love that joke. There was a Saturday Night Live skit, and this is back when Alec Baldwin was not being charged with murder. No, I shouldn't say that. This was back when he was younger. And this is like way pre 30 Rock even. But he's in front of this couple, and it's like a Long Island couple, and they're like, hey, we got so-and-so's coming over, but we got this nice picture of him, but it's not in a good frame. What are we going to do? And so he comes out and he's like, hey, I'm Tony with whatever, you know, photograph company. And he says, do you want to class up that picture of your grandma or your cousin or whatever? He's like, leave it to us at the, the whatevers this place is. We put it in a brandy snifter. So they do a photo composite of like whatever the picture was, but they like have this brandy snifter that's sitting like on a cloth or something, but then the thing, it looks like it's in the brandy snifter. And it's just like, it just goes off on this. It's like, that car you really liked in high school, boom, put it in a brandy snifter. That girl you dated, put it in a brandy snifter. So it just goes on and on for a little bit. And then he's like, and the piece de resistance, and then they show a brandy snifter inside a brandy snifter. And he's like, how sick is that? Every time something like Russian nesting doll kind of thing comes up, and I'm like, you put a brandy snifter in a brandy snifter. How sick is that? Yeah. I actually think you can look that one up. I think that's online somewhere. And I say somewhere, I mean YouTube. All right. I realize you have your choice in streaming content, so I appreciate you being here. Those of you who are here. Let's see, what else can we talk about? Andor is going to be a new show, and it'll probably be coming out this year. I think Ahsoka will be coming out this year. I think another Bad Batch season will be coming out this year. There's plenty of Star Wars coming out. So Andor, I feel like maybe a little departure from... Like, everybody really liked Rogue One, but I think when it comes down to it, maybe like a political intrigue, spy, thriller, kind of show based in the Star Wars world may not be like the best thing. Like, I think everybody thinks they will like that, but when it comes down to it, I don't know if they actually will. Like, I'm like, do you really want that? Because that's going to be dark. I mean, the whole reason I asked that is because, like, Falcon and Winter Soldier was like that, and I would hazard a guess that it wasn't the most popular of the Marvel TV shows. Even though Falcon and Winter Soldier is what the Black Widow movie should have been. Kind of small, terrorist, plotty kind of thing. A little bit of intrigue. Not like super high on action, but a lot of character stuff. But instead, we got Scarlett Johansson falling out of a crumbling air fortress. Okay. That's fine. Not really giving me a whole lot of Cold War vibes, but I guess that's cool. The Prison Break was good. I did like, what's his name, Harbor as their dad. He was fun. I loved, is her name Hillary Pugh? She's fantastic. She was good in Hawkeye as well. She's got that sort of flip attitude. She's like, yeah, whatever. I realize I'm a stone cold killer, but I'm also really into this mac and cheese. So that's fun. She was a delight. And Haley Staffield, she was great too. I liked her a lot too. I liked that show. I liked Hawkeye. I like them all. Like, there wasn't one that there was ones that I liked more, I think. I liked WandaVision only because it gave me that old, it felt like a Lost throwback where there was a mystery you had to solve a little bit in the first few episodes. It devolved into a giant CGI battle at the end, but at least to start, it was kind of, oh, what is that? Did you see that little twitch? Did you see that little bit of whatever that was? That's interesting. I wonder what that means, you know. What's that TV screen mean? What are we looking at? Who is that person? And it made Wanda kind of like a not terribly likable character, but, or maybe at least not identifiable. Maybe a bit sympathetic because she had gone through a trauma. But she also like mind controlled an entire town and kind of held them hostage. It's kind of like, oh God, really? Yeah. So yeah, Obi-Wan's coming out. I'm excited about that. I will watch anything Ewan McGregor does because he's great. So, like, serious man crush, Ewan McGregor. He was in a movie called Velvet Goldmine, which was kind of like a story about like the glam rock scene in Britain. And he wasn't the main character. He was kind of a foil to the main character. But I watched that and another movie with Sir Gandalf, Sir Ian McKellen, and it's like Gods and Monsters or something like that. And both of these movies were very sort of homosexually charged movies because it was kind of the 70s coming of age kind of things. And I will honestly say that I was a little questioning while I was watching these because all the people involved were like wonderful and pretty and talented. I'm like, oh, Ewan McGregor. So, but also very, very good movies, right? Very, very cool. Very good studies of the time periods and the people involved. So I would check them out. There's a great, if you don't know who Ross Marquand is, I thought it was Marquand, but it's Marquand, which I think is it's his name. I can't badmouth how he pronounces his name if that's how it is. But I feel like that's the lazy way to say that name. I want it to be French and say Marquand or Marquand. But Marquand. He does an impression of Ewan McGregor, and one of them is him smoking, and he lights it, and he goes, "I make this look cool. You know I do, you know." And I'm terrible at it, so, but he does really well. Look up, it's like nano impressions or micro impressions or something. And he does these really small bits. It's like for Variety or Vanity Fair or something. And he does all these like really small bits of impressions. And they're genius. Yeah, I'm sorry, sir. You're not saying your name right. Allow me to correct you. There was a fantasy book, a series of fantasy books, written starting, I think, in I want to say they were older than they are, but I think they were only written in the 90s. The Shannara series, and before you get on me about me saying it wrong, for the longest time, everybody thought it was the Sword of Shannara, the Elfstone of Shannara, the Wish Song of Shannara, all these. It was just a long-running series of books, right? Terry Brooks wrote these. And I read as many as I think I could. I think I've read all of these, of his series. And then he's got other books I think it's The Magician's Apprentice, or maybe that's Raymond Feist. Anyway, I would say these are contemporary fantasy authors. Like The Magician's Apprentice, Magic Kingdom Sold, something like that. But the Shannara series was funny because we read them, and then everybody would talk about them or write about them. And then MTV came out and did a show of it, and it was not great. It was fine, but it's not great. It wasn't even as good as Wheel of Time is right now. And Wheel of Time is, I think, fine. I think it's good. I'm enjoying it. But apparently, there was an interview with the author. Verbal interview, not a written interview, in which he said Shannara. And I think everybody collectively went, "What? Shannara? That doesn't sound right at all, sir. I know this is your world and you wrote it, but that is not right." Oop. This is gonna be repetitive. Sorry. This is the chill part of the stream where the same thing happens over and over for 15-20 minutes. And the music is all laid back. Welcome to Chill Hour. I'm hoping the hockey game hasn't actually started, because I'd be sad if I did all this and then logged on and hockey game was halfway through. It'd be worse if they were winning and I didn't get to see all the scores. Like me reading Harry Potter, I read most of the odd names wrong. Oh yeah, and what's her name does so many weird names anyway. You're like, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. That's just weird. speaking of Harry Potter, and this is a bit of a tangent off that, but knowing that the author of Harry Potter is somewhat problematic, I'm not going to go into that discussion but there's the discussion of, can you separate the art from the artist? And I think that is a good example of people trying to separate the art from the artist. You know, she's obviously not a terribly kind person, but also, can you still read the books? Can you still watch the movies? There's a documentary coming out, or is out, by W. Kamau Bell. He's a comedian. And the documentary is about Bill Cosby. And I think it's called, like, We Need to Talk About Cosby, or, you know, talking about Bill Cosby or something. And it's addressing that fact of, when do we start being able to talk about this? And when can we go back and look at what the person did in terms of art that doesn't have anything to do with what the person did that was terrible? Does everything that they do as an artist reflect them as a terrible person? You know, that kind of, I mean, it's the whole argument. And it's subtle too, because there may be things like, you don't like a person, an actor or a musician, because let's say they're a Scientologist and you don't believe that that's a good thing for people to believe in. You think it's a cult, you think it's brainwashing people, you don't like the color of their suits, whatever, you know. But at what point do you go, oh, you know what? Like, I like Will Smith movies, but I think the thing about what he believes in is not, I don't agree with that. But does that change the fact that I like Independence Day and I like, you know, Men in Black, that kind of stuff? I'm not a huge Tom Cruise fan, but I do like Tom Cruise movies. You know? Like, Minority Report is a great science fiction movie. The Day After Tomorrow is great. So that kind of thing. So, but that's the beginning of it. That's the starting line, is if you can't do that, then there's no way you could ever go back and listen to old Cosby records, or go watch Himself, or even go watch the Cosby Show. And I think the show that they were producing was very much, Cosby wasn't just a black man in American TV. He wasn't just a black dad. He was like America's dad for a very long time. Like, the Cosby Show ran for 8 years. You know, it's not just about him being the identity of a black man, but as America's dad, not just America's black dad. So at what point does that just get erased from society? It's such a integrated fabric thing of our culture and our history and our shared consciousness and our recognition of popular events, that at what point does that just get washed away completely? I mean, we watched a show and everybody went crazy about a show in which the main character and the main titular character was accused of threatening to kill somebody. And we loved it. So much so that they made a second season of it and are making a movie about it. And I'm talking about Tiger King. He's a terrible person. She's not a great person either. But we're watching this. And I think the difference comes down to, honestly, like, we kind of put all our faith in the character of, or the actor that was Bill Cosby. And I think there's a lot of betrayal, and there's a lot of not so much, hey, you did a bad thing, because people do bad things all the time, and they either get caught or they don't, and they either get punished or they don't. But there's also this sort of, I feel like, betrayal of social consciousness or social contract as well. Like, you knew you were going to be held to a higher standard. You knew it in the 60s when you were doing all these albums. And when you were on I Spy, and when you were hanging out with with Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra and the like, when you were a giant star and becoming an even bigger star, you knew you were going to be held to a higher standard. And yet you let the fame do this to you, and you let your baser instincts take over, and you did horrible, horrible things. I don't know. I'm trying to rationalize the fact that I still have all these Cosby albums that I haven't thrown away yet. And it bothers me, because when I was a kid growing up, I memorized these albums, and now it's like, well, just got to forget all that. But at the same time, you're like, what you did was horrible, and I have to side with the people that you victimized. And to do less would be just as inhuman as what you did. Well, this got real deep. Sorry about that. Anyway, there's a documentary. I think it's on Showtime. Go watch it. I think it's going to be good. I haven't seen it. I heard somebody say it was like a really bad documentary, but I don't know. I can't imagine that was an easy one to make, because Bell was like, the list of people who said no to this was a lot bigger than the people who said yes to doing it. But I think he talked to survivors, and I think he talked to people who were involved. So there was some good that came out of it. So it's like watching, not exactly, but it'd be like watching those true crime documentaries where it's like the Scientologist gets out of the cult, whatever her name was. So, right. Getting along here. So I'm excited for Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I am guardedly optimistic. Cautiously optimistic. I think that, again, Ewan McGregor will be great. I think they took entirely too long to get this done. Like, I think they didn't strike while the iron was hot, and I'm worried that it's going to cost them. I don't know. We'll just have to see. What do you think? So apparently there's mixed snowboard cross going on right now. Kind of want to go watch it. So I know this wasn't terribly long, but I think I might call it in about 5 minutes. I'm gonna work on this a little bit more, kind of watching some Olympics and then some hockey. And then, so I'm gonna finish this up so I can get all this off the table. And then Sunday, since I'm not doing anything tomorrow, Sunday, I'll be back on YouTube and we'll do the globe. I got the globe and we'll start on that. That'll be fun. I heard it was a fun build, even if you didn't like the end result. Yeah, I think we're at a good stopping point. So thanks for being here on Twitch. The first only solely Twitch. Missy, thank you for being here. Kodiak, thank you for being here. Whoever the third viewer is on here, I appreciate it. Yeah, so I might try doing this. Today was a little odd getting it done Friday instead of Saturday, but I think what I might do is Saturday mornings. Because I like waking up and before Beth wakes up, maybe like have a nice little couple hour stream over breakfast and coffee. I may not always have some sets to build, but at least do some designing, maybe some microfighter stuff, and then switch to YouTube on Thursday and Sunday like normal. I'm trying to like split them up so I don't get caught doing both at the same time. I'm also thinking of canceling my Restream Premium because I don't think anybody hardly watches it on Facebook. I had one person say they did, and I'm like, okay, subscribe to Twitch or YouTube, one of the two. It doesn't have to be on Facebook. So anyway, yeah, so thanks for being here, and I will talk to you guys soon, and stay cool.